Have you ever experienced one of those moments where the air just completely goes out of the room? It gets real heavy and just falls out, usually under a dramatic scene in a movie or something. Maybe it's your parents' funerals. I'd like for you to witness one now, and most of you probably halfway there are going to realize it, but it only is 2 minutes long. But this is one of those moments.
91, there was a conference in France, right? At the end of the conference, the host, a Frenchman, decided to take 5 people to his house for dinner. And after dinner, he said, "Hey guys, what is it that makes you really proud that your ancestors left behind? That anywhere you go in the world, every corner of the world, you will see it. People have to rely on it every day. Say it without blaming anybody." Of course, the American kid was the first to say, "Well, listen, I'm a 23-year-old American kid. I didn't even finish high school. But you see, everywhere I go in this world with this blue passport, I'm treated like a rock star because my ancestors built a country to represent or be the beacon of freedom and equality, and they mean it. America is into where its soldiers have gone out to die for other people. Everybody thinks of America as the place to go if you want to just blow up." The Japanese said, "Well, I'm from Japan. There are 196 countries on earth, and in each of them, every 5 cars, 3 are Japanese. Every hospital in the world, equipment has saved lives, were built in Japan. Appliances in the kitchen, on and on and on. It's the most beautiful, well-organized, hard-working culture in Asia. We're not just Asians. We are very one of a kind. And that, when I travel as a Japanese, the way people treat me is because of what my ancestors have built in this world. It's what they are robbing off me. Now, if you are, since you are black, and you are the last person in the room, what would you say about your ancestors? That in today's world, from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, this is what your ancestors left behind, that everybody have to rely on it just to make the day go by. What is it about your ancestors that makes you proud to be black?
Here is what you asked for.
Wow, that question slaps harder than reality itself. It's got some gravitas. It's kind of like Thor's hammer, where nobody can pick it up because the damn thing's so heavy. Wow. And I do not know what they said as their answers, but there was a girl there that seemed a little mixed, and she had her hair added on and everything, and they all had their Sunday best on, by the way. But another one had a gold nose ring, ironically, and the other one was dressed up real nice, and so was the man here, Zenu, who is asking the question. He's kind of a new guy on the block a little bit, been around for a while, but starting to really take off. He's kind of like the African version of Thomas Sowell, if you know what I'm saying. So he's more of an economist type thing, but and everybody instantly, as soon as they find a smart black man, they try to say, "Oh, you ought to be the president of whatever country," and all this stuff. But I don't think he wants to be, because he's witnessed the fact that they don't live very long, and he probably wouldn't make it 4 years, and the thing, somebody'd machete him or something. So that's just terrible in itself. But I'd like to go back through this and what is stated about each one, and then we'll have the ending here. So hold on a second.
91, there was a conference in France, right? At the end of the conference, the host, a Frenchman, decided to take 5 people to his house for dinner. And after dinner, he said, "Hey guys, what is it that makes you really proud that your ancestors left behind? That anywhere you go in the world, every corner of the world, you will see it. People have to rely on it every day. Say it without blaming anybody." Of course, the American kid was the first to say, "Well, listen, I'm a 23-year-old American kid. I didn't even finish high school. But you see, everywhere I go in this world with this blue passport, I'm treated like a rock star because my ancestors built a country to represent or be the beacon of freedom and equality, and they mean it. America is a country where its soldiers have gone out to die for other people. Everybody thinks of America as the place to go if you want to just blow up.
When I think of being an American, I, am quite proud of it, but I still have those weird feelings with we could do so much more. When I was a kid, we were starting the space age, and I thought by now and they told us we would have flying cars and a base on the moon and going to Mars and doing other things. And then as that approached, they said, well, it will be in the year 2000, and then they just delayed all of that. So I don't want to be a party pooper on this concept, but there's so much more that we could do over and above what we've done.
Touchdown confirmed. Welcome to the moon, Starship.
And to that fact, it's documented that we, as a people, the Caucasians of America, before they came to America and have created some 98 point something percent of all the inventions in mankind. And what's important in that is some of those inventions led to the other inventions, which led to other inventions, which led to where we are now. I mean, it's an incredible thing. So they're something that's very ingenuitive and figuring out things and making shit happen, and the way that it works, and it's incredible. I don't know if y'all have been paying attention, breathing in and out or not, but this next year is 2026, and that's going to be another big milestone for America, starting off in 1776. So it's going to be our 250th year anniversary.
America! Announcing America's 250th anniversary from 1776 to 2026. Get ready for a summer of cooking.
And when I was a kid, we had 1776 to 1976, and it was huge. I remember the New Year's thing was bigger than ever, and that's what level it pretty much stayed at after that point. We started really having the rockin' New Year's Eve and all those things after it, but it really seemed like that was a big kicker for it, and it never ended. And you saw just party plates everywhere that had American stuff on it. The American flag was on everything. It got sickening. Everybody at least even had a little bumper sticker that had an American flag on it. It was crazy. They were everywhere. I remember people sticking them on stop signs and things like that too. And when we came into the 4th of July and it came upon that was the biggest 4th of July season that there was. It really wasn't a time of one day or the day before through or something. It was a whole season type time, and it felt different. Of course, I was a kid growing up skateboarding in the middle of summer, and beautiful Texas and this, that, and other. And so, but it had that feeling to it, and I hope as a country we definitely have that feeling again with this, and we have good celebrations, and we cut all this bullshit that's been going on. People, I mean, seriously. I mean, they may be trying to knock us down so we don't have such a good thing because they're all worried, oh my God, what if they came to realize what all this has been about for 250 years now? Oh, yeah, but anyhow. So let's go on to the second one, the Japanese person.
The Japanese said, well, I'm from Japan. There are 196 countries on earth, and in each of them, every 5 cars, 3 are Japanese. Every hospital in the world, equipment that has saved lives, were built in Japan. Appliances in the kitchen, on and on and on. It's the most beautiful, well-organized, hard-working culture in Asia. We're not just Asians. We are very one of a kind. And that, when I travel as a Japanese, the way people treat me is because of what my ancestors have built in this world. It's what they are robbing off me.
Okay, so I even razzed some a little bit on what our capabilities are versus what we've been wasting ourselves trying to act like we're doing. But in this version of Japan, let's look at that and what they said. The guy said that, 3 out of 5 cars that they make and everything, and they are making some cars. And I remember when I was a kid, whenever Datsun and Toyota and things weren't that hot and everything, but they were cheap. And then they got better quality and stuff. And we're really talking about good cars now and Hyundais and things like that. So that's a bit of a problem because we used to have in America the greatest car fleet in the world. In fact, if we really look at it, cars come from Caucasians. Yeah, whether it started in Germany with Benz or whatever you want to try to say, it all came over here. And of course, Ford was here in America and they made the thing on the way that it is. And we seem to be, there are things that do stick out in their cars. We just did the vet real good again and all these things. But yet there's something lacking compared to what other people are doing. And it's kind of that way across the board, sadly. But whenever you look at it, we're the ones that created cars, and so the Oriental people aren't as creative. Again, 98% or whatever.
And he tried to chase, but that Hemi is pulling. Here comes the stripe charger by a car length. 10.23 at 134.6 miles an hour. Wind light for the Dodge.
And but they do have another thing, and he mentioned it there with the medical equipment and stuff. They've had a bunch of things in that, and somebody in one thing that I saw tried to say that it knocked us all the way down to something like 90%, 96%. And then another one said it was something even more than that knocked us down. But regardless of that, that they've had a bunch of additions and stuff and so on in the medical theater. But in that concept, what they're doing is they're mocking Caucasians with all the things they came out with, all of the equipment, the ideas, and everything, DNA being able to check it, the common blood test, the way things are done, literally is done in that way. I mean, I don't know if you're not thinking about it or not, but these people don't wear wooden shoes and sit on the floor to eat and live in paper houses anymore. All right, are we straight? If you look at downtown Tokyo, you can't tell the difference between it and New York or something. Well, New York looks a little shittier. Tokyo's been upped and upped and up and everything, but it still has that same look. It is that same look, and it's that for a reason. And about most of the things that they do and stuff. Now, back to them working hard and having an ethic in things. That's real important with these people. It's amazing. The other day I watched a guy, it was a 5-year-old violin player, and it blew my freaking mind. It was like, what the hell's going on here? But of course, there's some strictness to that and some things that we don't want to do to our kids necessarily. But wow, look at potentials of some of these people on the planet if you just gear them in a certain way. Just like Tiger Woods' dad, whenever he took him as a kid and started to teach him how to play. If he would have never picked up golf, we would have never known. And I think it's that way about everywhere. The best baseball player ever has never actually played baseball. And there's somebody better than Tiger Woods that never even played golf. And we can look at that about every aspect of things and stuff and become a better people and take it to another level and so on. But at the same time, we end up having something that gave us extreme gravitas at this moment.
Now, if you are, since you are black, and you are the last person in the room, what would you say about your ancestors that in today's world, from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, this is what your ancestors left behind, that everybody have to rely on it just to make the day go by? What is it about your ancestors that makes you proud to be black?
Man, that question kind of hits hard there at the end, and you can tell right whenever the conversation switched, the gravity in the room and everything. And some of us are even in horror for that. You almost hear that background music, and it's because some of you know the truth and reality of it. I mean, they live these false dreams, which is one real problem with those people, and nobody is giving any type of weight to that at all about how they have these dreams. We were the ancient Hebrews. We used to be the Egyptians. We did this, we did that, and all that other stuff, meanwhile not doing anything. And it's a constant problem, along with all the black fatigue that goes on and things like that, which is just built up and built up, and it's just not going anywhere. Not going anywhere good at all. And so, looking through the comments here, there's like 1,600 comments. There's over 1,600 comments in here. And, what have they left us? And there's a lot of comments. I'd say I looked through hundreds of them. And I'd say there was only like 3 black people who clicked in and tried to say something stupid. One of them tried to say that they invented everything, and he had this list you could tell he clip and pasted onto it about how they invented everything from potato chips, which I did a video about, by the way, and it's not true at all. But potato chips, electricity, they claim on this one, along with the light bulb, along with the street light, like for traffic lights, along with the mailbox, along with thing, and it seemed to be that list that we've all seen before. And of course, it's all been totally debunked. But again, they keep stepping out with this lame bullshit. And of course, on this list, believe it or not, was the pyramids. Just by number 7, the pyramids. Yeah. Seriously, they try to pull this type of concept, and it's why they're looked at as the clowns on the world stage. Another one says, the next question, more important, what are we leaving our descendants to be proud of? So here's a black person that's on there actually asking a decent question. And there's 25 answers to that and everything. And you can expect some of the answers that are given back to them and so on. So I won't go into that. But and the only ones who call themselves kings and queens just because, question mark. Right. One of them asks if they don't even understand the question, and then another one talks about how it's a profound point, the whole concept of the question being asked. And to me, hope see if it's the same for you. For a black person to be asking the question, always it seems to have a different gravity all of a sudden. If a white person's doing it, you're supposed to be condescending, like you have it all figured out, like you're trying to help a 4th grader out. And that's another situation that we have a definite problem with. And actually, they have the problem with all these situations. But what is it? I mean, some person, there's few in here twerking. You used to have, one says, you used to have good music back in the 1970s. And I'll agree totally with that. I loved it when I was growing up as a kid, and then everything changed. Now you don't have something that you should probably record. But, what is there going to be? And of course, one of the other black people that chimed in tried to claim that they created everything, and right off the bat, people are saying the truth and letting them know the truth. Picking cotton didn't really do anything and caused us such a burden. You didn't really want to say that. We're still under a burden today because somebody wanted cheaper cotton production. What the hell? And they soon became outdated farm equipment because the cotton gin was created by Eli Whitney and all of those things and stuff. And so you look at the Orientals there, and they have a work ethic, and that's real cool. And they have a sense of honor that's real cool. So you've got to give them that. I mean, definitely we had to give it up for that. But at the same moment, here in America, I live in Texas. We have a lot of Mexicans that have the same way, where they have an extreme strong work ethic. I mean, so it's almost like the other side of the world. There's something similar to that here. Whereas if you look at it, blacks, they're actually the ones that are connotated as being lazy and don't do anything. Yeah, and so apparently that's been a problem all the way back from whenever they got off the boat and didn't know how to farm yet, and had to be taught everything. And so any of these inventions that people try to say about are always, of course, because of being after and around the Caucasian spaceman that leaves room for a thing like that to even be built in the first place. And the fact that you get taught by Caucasians, is really going to make a difference, because that's not happening in the bush sitting in the middle of a dung hut. And I think we all know that. But they try to have as much pride in something as they can, but in so they always exaggerate and overdo it and things like that, but they give no credit to anybody that got them to where they are from where they recently were. And that causes other issues and so on too. So let's just get out of here. This was something that was about 2 minutes long and a deep question, and we've turned it into something that's got to be around 20 minutes now.
This just in. In a shocking turn of events, they claimed, we was. Let's join them now via satellite.
Okay, I searched it up and I found it actually. Frank Zenu has his own web channel now on YouTube and has a lot of these videos uploaded to there. The first one that I looked at was one that said that blacks can't blame anybody but themselves, and they need to quit blaming the only people propping them up in the world, which is hilarious because I've been saying that all along. But what I was looking for was finding out what they said back as an answer during that video. And what came out, of course, is the blame game by the girl a little bit. But the worst thing that happened there was that the guy with the nose ring in tried to claim they used to be the Moors. Oh yeah, we've got a few videos about this and who the Moors were. I'll just leave this up here while you'll hear him claim it. Listen.
Why they are here for their children to read. So why are you saying the American history book doesn't have anything about us? Why are they?
No, it has stuff about us. So I just feel like none of our highlights are highlighted.
Like what? What do you know and it's not highlighted?
I say specifically something that a lot of people don't know is about the Moors' time in Spain.
What?
The Moors, their time in Spain.
Well, the Moors in their time in Spain.
The Moors, they were. I'm not an expert on this topic, so I don't want to.
No, he's not.
I'm an expert, but you could definitely look up this information for yourself. And they were basically, a group of black men, and they settled in Europe or in Spain a long time before whites had gotten there, and it's something that I really didn't learn until high school.
So what would you go around today in the world, every corner of the world that you see that will remind you of the Moors?
Dude, it's like I said, it's that information is not.
Yeah, so what does the settling of the Moors in Spain? What does it do for the world?
That's a good question. I don't really know. I'd have to. Yeah, no, it's a good question.
He has no idea. There should have been that conclusion in his brain where he was saying, okay, there is something from the Moors that everybody has, and we're attached to the Moors. The problem is that the Moors were Caucasians endemic to North Africa, and they went into Spain. And then he had to try to play up on white people. It's the thing where he said, they were there before the white people. Look, Spanish people are white people. Oh, that fucks your head up. They're Caucasians. How about everybody in North Africa and Egypt and everywhere in the world except for the Orient, where there's Orientals, are Caucasians? Yeah, quit trying to point at one group of them and say some stupid shit or try to act like Caucasians came from some cave in the Caucasus Mountains, like some stupid shit whenever you just came from a dung hut and there's still dung huts existing today. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. What he wants to try to pull out is what the Moors. We were the Moors. Yeah, that's sad. What he wants to try to pull out is what the Moors. We were the Moors. Yeah, that's sad.
They will self-expose, tell silly lies, and do nothing. Checkmate.
Yo, I slide through the tide like a jewel in the moon. Gorilla in the wig, welcome to Neptune's lagoon. Pink lashes flutter, drip gloss on my tune. Got the ocean in my hips, make the planet.
Do you like the info he shares?
See the like button? Click it.
What is it about your ancestors that makes you proud to be black?